So for the RO permissions and ownership, I need to create a finance directory by starting with creating the group, which is what the group sudo group add did. It essentially explains what to create and what role it needs to give so that we can easily or remove employees later without having to essentially change the file settings. Next, what I needed to do was assign the user, which was what the user mod did. And what it did basically is that it mentions the flag that stands for append group, which is safer to do than using the /G because it adds you to the finance group without having to accidentally removing the user from other existing groups essentially. Next, what I needed to do was define the ownership, which was what I did for the sudo chown root. And what it did was that it explains the directory owned by the root or the system, but the group owner, which is the finance user mod, this is the foundation that it basically gives to the role-based access control. And then which leads me to my next permission, which is the octo permission, which is the sudo gmod 1770. It basically explains the owner and group with full read, write, and execute rights so that they both can collaborate. And essentially, like the O, for example, would explain that the others are completely blocked and they can't see what's inside the files, more specifically the file names. And what the I will do is that it is essentially the highest level security feature, explaining that in a shared folder, the sticky bit prevents a user from deleting the file unless the owner specifically asks to delete that file essentially. And the verification, which is the ls/ld finance, it essentially just points out what the T at the end does, especially for the permission string, which proves that the sticky bit is active. And this is what I did for the file permissions and ownership directory.